There's Iona. I don't know what sort of funny business you're up to, but I like it.
She mimed a quick hat tip and ambled off with a whistle.
Chapter 8.
The cold, hard truth.
Oh.
Beck leapt up, allowing the suction to yank her into the dark. Dimness eclipsed around her like the shutter of a camera as she seemed to cover great distance in mere moments. Her only points of reference were glints of upcoming turns, which approached with frightening speed, only to carom her gracefully along. She heard the tinny, distant echoes of Rolo's glee. Once she stopped fighting against it, the ride was impossibly smooth. Then, all of a sudden, as if minutes had passed in an instant, light blazed into view. A burst of wintry air snuffed across her face, and she was flung out into the cold.
Oh. Oh! Yep. There we go. That was intense. Yeah. I think I might have parted with some fluids in there. Any idea where we are? Somewhere cold. Doesn't look like it got on any of us. It didn't feel like we traveled that far. So where did y'all go? This place sucks. Why would anyone even want to blow something up out of here? Only one way to find out, I suppose. We gotta catch up with Nuncreed. I think he went this way. Alright. We all know it's here, because we played it in another alternate universe. But this is actually where, what's-his-face, his dad is buried. Luka's. Let's see here. Nothing back here. We got a wee hop. Love it. What's this? This looks familiar, yeah. Maybe we can clear out the snow. No time, Nuncreed's getting away. Alright. Whoa. Okay, this is starting to feel really familiar. I may not be the most well-versed on all things Beacon Pines, but this does look like some sort of frozen replica of town. Ah, I got it. It's so obvious now. Mr. Nuncreed is an alien. Rolo. Stick with me here. His species can only live in sub-zero temperatures. Oh boy, here we go. The source is their base camp dimension, so naturally they keep it cold. We found it by traveling through those metallic wormholes back there. The final objective, kill us all and shapeshift into Beacon Pine citizens of their choosing. You never really had me. But you very much lost me there. You get used to it, we should keep moving. Alright, let's go find... Oh, Mr. Nuncreed's store. It's gotta be back where... I know where it is.
As they rounded the corner to the frozen town square, they spotted Mr. Nuncreed inching cautiously toward a pit at its center. He held his arms out gingerly, as if approaching a beast in the wild. Upon closing the distance, Luka recognized what Nuncreed was after. Gran stood confidently at the edge, one arm outstretched over the abyss.
Uh-oh.
Nearby, a wheelbarrow had been emptied out. She held a lit torch, which flickered in the bitter wind.
Okay. Juniper, I don't know what you think you're doing, but I assure you this is not going to solve anything. If you drop that, you've doomed this whole town. Oh, it wasn't me who doomed this town. I've been watching you, Joseph. I know what you've done. You and your co-conspirators. Gran? What's happening? Luka, you and your friends need to leave right this moment.
Mr. Nuncreed turned back toward the kids, desperation in his eyes.
Listen to your grandma, Luka. This is between me and Juniper.
Rolo and Beck held steadfast in awe. Luka approached closer. Mr. Nuncreed spun back toward Gran, his voice growing louder.
You've got it all wrong, Juniper! Just hand over that torch. You don't understand what you're doing. How could I possibly trust you to do the right thing? Walt told me everything. He trusted you, and you betrayed that trust. Luka, did you know that this man's entire life is a lie? If it weren't for him, your father might still be alive.
Mr. Nuncreed winced with anguish. His voice hardened.
That is not true.
They both now yelled, not to each other, but at fate itself, making their peace with long-held burdens. The wind howled with encouragement.
Walt was like a brother to me. We just had different ideas about how to affect change. Very convenient that your way just happened to line your pockets. Now that's not fair.
They menaced at each other, both catching their breath. The moment balanced on a knife's edge.
Ooh, get the twisted
of emotions and memories. Luka's mind flooded with questions. The wind calmed, as if to give him the stage.
And in the stillness he began to hum.
And in the stillness, he began to hum. After the death of his father, Luka had trouble sleeping. Each night, his mother would sit at the foot of his bed and hum a gentle melody. It was the only thing that could calm his mind. The only thing that, however briefly, could make it all seem okay. That melody pervaded every memory Luka had of his mother.
Wow.
Shivering in the raw snow, he began to hum it out loud.
I like the little hum.
Gran lowered the torch, listening closely. As recognition slowly set in, her heart sank. Those countless nights of consolation, the incomparable loss they shared together. She let the torch fall to the snow and sizzle out. A few steps toward Luka was all she could bear before dropping to the snow herself. Through a flood of tears, she began to hum along, note for note.
Oh.
Luka lifted his head in astonishment. The last time he heard that melody was the last night he saw his mother.
How do you know? I'm so sorry, my little buckaroo. Buckaroo? The only people who call me that are my dad and your mother.
Luka blinked through blurry, watery eyes, trying to see more clearly. He could just make out the impression of a familiar face. He peered across the snowscape at the woman on her knees. Something about her was undeniably his mother, only smaller, older, changed.
Mom? That's right, buckaroo. Mom!
Luka sprinted as fast as he could toward his mother. They held each other close,
Oh.
and the cold retreated from their bodies.
Eleanor? I thought you were gone? You should have known I would never abandon my son.
Eleanor looked down at Luka, tightening her embrace in an appeal for forgiveness.
How? You're a smart man, Mom, I don't understand any of this. What happened to you? Where did you go? Why did you leave me? I never left you. I was always right here, Luka. Why did you lie to me? It tore me up, Luka. But I did it to keep you safe. I thought that getting answers would help us both move on. But the more I discovered, the more I realized the danger we were in. Until perennial harvest was stopped, it was better if everyone thought I was gone. You could have trusted me. These are bad people, Luka. They won't stop until they get what they want. And they don't care who gets hurt in the process. Then, what do? We have to stop them.
Joseph slumped into the cold, wet snow.
They can't be stopped. This is too big. I tried beating them at their own game. I'm done fighting fire with fire.
For the first time in a long time, her voice felt like her own again.
No more lies. I see now. There's a better way to stop perennial harvest. The cold, hard truth.
Luka gazed down at Nuncreed with pity. He looked small. Joseph stared into the snow, as if searching it for answers.
Come on, everyone. We've got a party to crash. Yeah, go Mom! You're just gonna leave him there? Interesting. I'm glad I chose hum. You don't understand. He always wins.
Chapter 9. The Devil You Know. 7 months ago.
Ooh.
Eleanor Van Horn crept down the maze of sterile hallways under perennial harvest. She stopped in front of the large steel door marked Deep Engineering.
Oh.
No turning back now. She raised a trembling hand.
Okay.
The stolen keycard worked as promised, and the door buzzed open with mechanical efficiency. She was immediately hit with the smell of disinfectant.
Oof.
It was some sort of laboratory.
Okay.
In one corner was a desk covered in papers. Across the room stood a tall metal pod with hoses protruding from its base. She rushed to the desk and began shifting through the piles of papers. They were experiment reports on something called Tempus liquamen. There were dozens of them, every one stamped failed.
Uh-oh.
Eleanor heard the sharp echo of footsteps approaching. She was out of time. Her eyes scanned the room, eventually landing on the strange pod. Muttering a curse under her breath, she dashed over and dove inside.
Oh. Oh, shoot. And that is what change is all about. Here we come, here we come. Grabbing the future by the scruff of the neck and making things happen. Change is a choice. I am tickled pink that we will all be making that choice together. How great is that? This man is a liar! Excuse me? I will not! This town has a dangerous secret and perennial harvest only exists to keep it hidden. Nonsense! They picked up the whole damn town and moved it right under our noses. You aren't making any sense, dear.
Mr. Kerr addressed the crowd with a sarcastic tone.
Imagine such a thing. It's absurd and just plain impossible. They promised they could fix the foul harvest. They told us they would clean this place up. We just had to leave town for a few days. But while they had us evacuated, Miss Hartford, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to. You're afraid of a lot of things, aren't you? You sniveling little worm. This is growing tiresome. A little help, please. Don't you all see this festival is a sham? An excuse to have the whole town together in one place. They're planning something awful. I don't know what, but these people are wicked. don't listen to her. She has absolutely no proof. I am the proof. I am Eleanor Van Horn.
Whispers filtered through the crowd.
Well, aren't you just as sneaky as the Dickens? We all knew Valentine's fertilizer was too good to be true, and now this whole town is paying the price. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry about this disruption. My associates will have this woman... my associates will take this obviously disturbed woman somewhere comfortable, so that she can get the help she needs. She's not the only one who's disturbed. You two-timing clown. You all know there's something wrong with this town. It was just easier to look the other way. The truth is... Is she clapping? That's quite enough, Mr. Nuncreed.
Torment dragged on Joseph Nuncreed's face.
Yes, sir. Take them away. No, I want them to see this. Ah, the ever-tempestuous Eleanor Van Horn. You've been quite the thorn in my side. That's Sharper Valentine! That's Sharper. It just... Oh, fuck! Okay. Like a weed that's burrowed where it doesn't belong, I must confess, you look dreadful.
He paused for a moment, plucking a piece of fuzz from his sweater and discarding it to the ground.
Consider yourself in rare company. You've managed to pull one over on me. It won't happen again. I knew you had some sort of plan to disrupt our little party. But alas, I expect something a bit more impressive than incoherent rambling. No matter, your failures are yours to bear. Mr. Kerr? I've always been calling him Kerr, but it's Kerr. Yes, sir? It's a shame it was cut short, but I thank you for the rousing oratory. I will take it from here. Yes, sir. Of course, sir. You have all done quality work for me, William. You can look forward to the recompense for we agree upon.
Kerr gave a bow of deference.
Founder, you are most gracious.
Gasps rippled through the crowd.
Thankfully, we can dispense with the formalities from here on out.
Solomon pulled a glass vial from his pocket. In one smooth motion, he downed its contents. A triumphant smile grew across Solomon's lips.
Yep, that's Sharper. You can all call me Sharper Valentine.
His body and face began to contort and expand as he disappeared into a belching green mist. A hushed horror gripped the crowd. This is a story about change.
Wow, good twist. What? No! Ah, yes, you didn't see that coming. Good.
Sharper examined his new hands.
Well, this is quite the improvement. Everything looks so much smaller now. Eleanor was right about one thing. This festival was a ruse. I wanted you all to witness my glorious return with your own eyes. Why does everyone look so downtrodden? This is a celebration, people. Maybe it would help if we set the mood. Mr. Kerr, be a dear and reveal the sign. Ha! Wonderful.
Sharper choked out a crude squawk of a laugh. Frustrated grumbles sprinkled through the crowd.
Sharper, you malicious bastard. I'm glad you're back, so I can tell it to your face. You destroyed this town. We ain't gonna let you get away with it again. Sorry, this is not the time for audience participation. Some assistance, Mr. Kerr?
William Kerr gave a subtle nod to the clipboards.
You coward! Does anyone else have something to contribute?
A helpless quiet settled over the crowd.
I thought so. Did you all truly believe you could be free of me? A town of complete and utter fools. You people should be celebrating my return. You clearly lost without me. And that leads me nicely to my children. Daddy? I gave you both the greatest gift a parent can give. The opportunity to prove yourselves in my absence. Squandered. Today, to say I am disappointed would be an understatement. But Silence, Augustus! An adult is speaking. I don't know which is worse, a son who is completely hopeless, or a daughter with such potential who inevitably lets me down. Eris, you fail me with admirable consistency. Thankfully, I was counting on it this time. Father, I have been wasting my time, my dear. What have you accomplished? I was focused on cementing our legacy. Legacy? Who needs a legacy when you can just live forever? But what about... It's all right, kiddo. I'm afraid you suffer from a complete lack of imagination. There's just no helping it. Now then, where is Joseph? You didn't take the opportunity to slip off, did you? Ah, there he is. Everyone should give him a hand. None of this would have been possible without Joseph. I think you've said enough. Nonsense. The people deserve to know how helpful and loyal you've been. I only did what I did because he left me no choice. You always had a choice, Joseph. You were simply too weak to take it. No matter. Cheer up. You're about to be rich beyond your wildest dreams. You should follow Mr. Kerr's example. When I found him, he was in a sorrier state than any of you. An aging actor desperate to recapture his youth. He played his part, and soon he'll be playing the leading man again. Forever, in fact, if he remains loyal. That goes for all of you. Well, those who haven't already frittered away my goodwill. Beacon Pines is mine again. And I am willing to share its spoils in exchange for absolute loyalty. Are you saying William Kerr was never in charge of Perennial Harvest? Ha! You think that puffed-up blatherskite could have accomplished all of this? Dawn, I suppose it's time for your big exclusive.
Sharper addressed the crowd with indignant pride. He'd planned this moment for so long that now, at the deed's fruition, it almost felt frivolous.
You see, I needed a figurehead to hold things down while I orchestrated my return. Someone to misdirect, lie, and bilk this town for a spell. So I invented William Kerr. Take your bow. You've earned it.
Mr. Kerr flourished a preposterously elaborate bow.
Good job. Patrick C. Monesque, thespian extraordinaire, at your service. Founder, I just want to thank you again for this opportunity. It truly was the role of a lifetime. Wait, so this Bill Kerr was Pat C. the whole time? Now that your secret is out in the open, what's to stop this town from rising up against you? Oh, that's the delicious part. Fear. Thanks to our clipboard, I know what each and every person in this town fears most. And I will make those fears manifest for anyone who steps out of line. The choice is simple. I'm not afraid of you. Ha! The young hero. I've kept a keen eye on you, boy. You and your friends made a habit of disrupting my plans. What a pity. If things would have gone a bit differently, you might have had your moment of triumph. But that's fate for you. You can't do this! Oh, but I can. I have one. Never underestimate what a great man can do, given time. And now time is my plaything. Perhaps the most expensive thing I've ever bought. But well worth it. Ha!
Sharper coughed up one final laugh and cracked his knuckles.
Enough chit-chat. Let's get to work, shall we? Uh-oh.
And so, Sharper set about remaking the town in his own image.
Oh, cool. I guess that's the end.
The fertilizer factory soon reopened for business. Sales rose steadily as more and more farmers across the countryside began to swear by its miraculous properties. Beacon Pines became famous, a secretive town that, for the right price, shared its gifts with all. Gifts that became more and more necessary in a world where winters grew longer and longer. The end.
Yay! Great story, guys. I loved it.
This is wrong, but...
It is?
Things are becoming clearer now. You can feel it, right?
A little bit.
We can't let Sharper win.
What?
He might just be the key to this whole thing.
But Sharper's a great guy. I mean, he obviously out-tricked not only me and every other character, but even the narrator. Go Sharper. Team Sharper!
Let's see.
Oh, I gotta do this, don't I? Well, let's see. Oh, let's find out what this is again. Oh. What is this one? Malice.
There was a malice lurking behind those eyes. Like a trap ready to spring.
Ah, this part, okay.
Luka felt the weight of Nuncrete's hand on his shoulder. Something wasn't right. He didn't know why, but something was telling Luka to get out of there.
I just want this all to be over. Of course, I'm sure it will all work out soon enough. I should get going. I told Roxy I'd check for Rolo at the treehouse.
Luka twisted free of Nuncrete's grasp.
Of course. Luka, you know your dad and I were good friends back in the day. You can come to me with anything. Anything at all. Yeah. I want some licorice. Hand it over. Alright, I'll jump this way. Deals, deals, and deals! Ooh, which one over here? Oh, here we go. Yeah, can I help you read? I just want to help you read. Is it good? What page are you on? I finished that page. Can we go to the next page? Are you done? Wait, hold on. Can we go back to another? Alright, what do you got? Can you talk to me? No one's talking to me? Fuck this library. Library's terrible. Hate this library. Oh, what is this? Interesting. But before, let's find out what this lady's gonna say. He looked down and muttered in a gruff voice. Mama always told me my problem would look smaller once I grew up. But my problems always seem to grow right along with me. Heavens, I sense big trouble ahead. Shoppa. Who is this person? The festival decorations are a bit humdrum. Now, if I were to throw a festival, it would be a thing to behold. I agree, this is all more than a little sad. It's worse than sad. It's boring. What if we did a little something to spice things up? I'm listening. You know that festival sign waiting to be unveiled? Wouldn't it be a shame if someone...
The two scurried off, eagerly formulating a plan.
Oh. Who is that? I'd like to know who that was. Don! Talk to me. Hey, Don. Is it true about Rolo? Yeah, he didn't come home last night. I wonder if it's connected. Connected to what? I was checking in on reports about increased activity around town. What sort of activity? Windowless trucks, mechanical noises, strange lights, your typical shady stuff. Who would be doing all that and why? Well, I have a few leads. The Valentine family is always suspicious. Perennial Harvest certainly has the resources. Do you have any idea where Rolo could be? The best place to start looking is where the trail went cold. Where did you see him last? We were in Weepwood. Right by Valentine's Fertilizer. I'll check out Weepwood when my shift ends. I do my best work at night. Oh, okay. Well, what's going here? Huh. Guess Ms. Fratelli is getting ready for the festival. Alright, we're getting out of here. We're moving along. I gotta go find Rolo and... Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Identify yourself, please. Nellie Modwell. I work here now. I am unable to locate you on our staff roll. Oh, I don't officially start until tomorrow. Mr. Kerr said I could come in early tonight to get a few things done. Hold, please. Clearance authorized. Thank you. Our harvest awaits. I want to go inside. Ugh. Whoa! You could get a wrench to the noggin sneaking up on a guy like that. Don't scare a man while he's junking, Sonny. Evening, Jeff. Isn't it kind of late to be junking? I might as well ask the same thing of you. Find anything good? Bah! Ever since Perennial Harvest moved in, even the junk is trash. You can learn a lot about a person by looking at what they throw away. With this bunch, it's all shredded paper and coffee cups. Well, I better get going. I didn't see anything if you didn't see nothing. See what? Exactly. Find what he's... Hey! Wanna ask me more questions? No, guess not. You wanna... Oh, you're still sleeping. Oh, wait. Looking cool. Always look cool. I wonder how far this goes in. A little bit. I just love the artwork. It's so good. Alright. Hey! Talk to me! Please. Oh yeah, it's you. No, we're good. Rolo. Rolo?
He aired a long holler into the woods.
Rolo! Polo! Rolo! Rolo, wherever you are, I hope you're okay.
Luka felt his eyes getting heavy and plopped into the beanbag.
Good idea. Rest it off,
He conceded to its lumpy embrace.
He ain't gonna show up, though.
Once
he
again,
got captured.
Luka found himself in a vast black expanse.
Ooh, okay.
This time, he knew exactly where to go. He took a single confident step forward. The world flickered and pulsed. He found himself standing in front of the frigid air of a blazing campfire. The source.
The source!
He plopped down cross-legged and gazed into the cold flame, waiting. Soon enough, the fire began to die out, popping sporadically, until all that was left was a single ember. Luka stood up and dusted himself off. He plucked the glowing ember from the cold ash, examined it, and slid it into his pocket. A keepsake. The voice of his father spoke behind him. You made me proud, Buckaroo. Luka turned to face him. Dad, what is this place? A warm grin grew across his father's face. A place where everything that has been and everything that could be all wait together.
Interesting.
Luka found himself staring at his father's face, trying as hard as he could to memorize every single detail. Wait? For what? Another voice spoke out as Luka's doppelganger stepped forward. That's up to you. Without knowing why, Luka began to weep.
I bet you the author is Luka.
Is any of this real? Are you real? Luka's father bent down to smudge away a tear. Of course. I'm as real as the part of you that misses me. Luka turned to look at the older version of himself. And you? The doppelganger choked back tears. I'm as real as the part of you that's angry he's gone. Does that make sense? Through his tears, Luka laughed. I think so. His father pulled him in for an embrace. Time to go, buckaroo. Luka was startled from his dream by a banging on the floor.
Startled. Are you in there?
A commanding voice rumbled from below. Just as Luka sprang to lock the entry hatch, the door knocked open. Chapter 5. Dangers big and small. Luka stumbled back. He heard the rope ladder creak under significant weight. Keeping his eyes fixed on the hatch, he inched backward to the balcony. As his hand grasped the door handle, Luka froze. A large figure clumsily wriggled up through the hole.
Adult? Rolo? Stop right there or I'll... Sheesh, I know it's dark and all, but I figured you'd recognize me. Who are you?
The large figure cocked its head inquisitively.
Stop now! Stop now or I'll clobber you with a baseball bat. Whoa, 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 take it easy. Luka, you need to get your eyes checked. It's me, Rolo! Dun da da da! Nice try, but I know you aren't Rolo. You're like one of his random uncles or something. Where is he? Uncle? Luka, quit messing around. It's me. If it really is you, prove it. Flaming chicken coop, Luka!
Luka's jaw dropped. He peered more closely at the man standing in front of him. Something about him was undeniably Rolo, only bigger, older, changed.
How? What happened to you? When I was running away, I ran into more people in those yellow suits. They grabbed me and dragged me away. What? Where did they take you? Dunno, they threw a bag over my head. It was cold, it smelled like a swimming pool. I think it was an underground lab or something. They made my hands all big. Look.
Rolo proudly presented his hands to Luka.
Pretty sweet, right? I mean, it wouldn't be my first pick for a superpower. But beggars can't be choosers. Rolo, it wasn't just your hands. My feet too? Dang, Pa just made me new shoes. Wait, Luka, why are you so small?
Luka moved to the side and pointed Rolo to his reflection in the balcony window.
What the?
His hands shot up to his face.
Ah! Like Home Alone. Ah! Holy Toledo! Rolo, what did they do to you? They made me drink some sort of green crud. Ew. Actually, it wasn't too bad. It kind of tasted like licorice. I passed out and woke up like this. And then I sort of smashed open my cage and escaped. Whoa, you smashed open a cage? Kinda. At least, I think I did. It's all a bit of a blur. They had you in a cage? Who are these people? I don't know who did this to you, but we're gonna fix it. Fix it? This is awesome! Well, I'm just glad you're safe now. Luka, you don't need to worry about me. Sure, I got snatched, but look at it this way. I got snatched. I know where snatched people go. We may finally have a lead on what happened to your family. Maybe you're right, but this all seems dangerous. Danger? Ha!
Rolo shadowboxed a few jabs.
I'll take them all on! Hey fellas, what's up?
With a yelp, Rolo dove behind Luka.
Ah! Take cover! Did I come at a bad time? Who the heck are you? This is Beck. Sorry, something truly bizarre just happened and I need help. I don't know where else to go. So, you're just hanging out here with your large adult friend? No, this is my buddy Rolo. This is your missing friend? One and the same. He seems a little old. I'll have you know this is a recent development. What the heck does that mean? Oh, I'm sorry, you're the one who just showed up out of nowhere. So we'll be asking the questions here. That's fair. How did you find us? Your silly little treehouse? I think you mean our silly little mission control. That's right. Rolo, don't back down. I hate to break it to you, but your secret path isn't so secret. And I could hear your racket from a mile away. See, Luka, this is why we need to improve our security around here. Not now, Rolo. Beck, you said something bizarre happened? Yeah, but...
She shot a nervous glance at Rolo.
Anything you can say around me, you can say around Rolo. This has been a weird day all around, hasn't it? Yep.
Beck's eyes narrowed.
Okay, so it all started when I made it back home. My first order of business was to try to salvage my hair. So I dyed it with some stuff from the chemistry set my mom gave me. Okay, just need to play it cool and hope no one notices. Notices what? Oh, nothing. I was just... Come over here and let me have a look. Oh, honey, what in the world did you do to your hair? I just kind of felt like a change. This is gonna take forever to grow out. You were the ones who said that change was a good thing, right? I was talking about your mother's new job. I was talking about us moving. Well, I guess I just took your lessons to heart.
Ilona tried to put on a smile.
Before I forget, I came up here to tell you that Nellie had to go into work. Tonight? Her and Mr. Kerr decided it would be good for her to get some things done before tomorrow. The Kerr guy seems like a grade A creep. Beck. He is! Him and his weird cult of personality. You are not going to ruin this job for Nellie. It means too much to her. Oh, I know exactly how much it means to her. It means enough to her to exile her daughter to this podunk town. This place sucks. The people are weird. You just don't know them yet. It's always cold. We're in the mountains, you'll get used to it. I can't even pick up a single decent station on the radio. It's all banjo music and farm reports. You know, I grew up in a town not that different from this one. Is that why you're better at talking to plants than people? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. First of all, you're grounded. What? In the morning, I'll have Nellie come and see what we can do about fixing your hair. You need to look presentable for the festival. But not another peep.
She sighed, and after a moment, looked down at Beck sympathetically.
I know moving is hard, honey. But that doesn't mean you have to make yourself miserable all the time. Other people seem to have that covered for me. Oh, and if you decide to rebel by dyeing your hair more...
She flashed a sly grin and tousled Beck's hair.
I'll just shave it off for you. Think of how rebellious you'll look then. Very funny. Thank you. Good night, sweetie. Good night, Mom. Wait. First of all, this town does not suck. Second, you need help because you got grounded? No. I'm sorry you got in trouble. It's my fault your hair got screwed up in the first place. Don't worry about it. I actually kind of like this look. Great. Can we get back to the story now? The next part is the most important bit. I have this radio I upgraded with my mom, and I was too angry to sleep. So I tried to dial in something worth listening to. Mr. Kerr, are you there? Mr. Kerr. Yes, I'm busy. What is it? Apologies, I have the founder on the line. Patch him through immediately. One moment. Hello, sir. It's so nice to hear from you. Skip the pleasantries. What's your report on the new lead researcher of deep engineering? Nellie Modwell seems to be integrating nicely. At this very moment, she's working to help us meet our deadline. She offered to work overtime before I even had the chance to suggest it. Excellent. And you have faith that she's capable of finishing the work led by her predecessor? Her work must be complete before the festival. I will make sure she stays day and night until it's accomplished. Good. You know how I feel about loose ends. Yes, sir. Once she has finished the work, we need to make a determination regarding her long-term prospects in the company. Immediately, sir? I usually have more time to fully bring people into the fold. We are in the end game, Bill. After your failures with Dr. Prescott, I can't afford to take any risks. Of course, sir. No loose ends here, sir. Once she finishes the work, she will either leave the office completely committed to perennial harvest, or she won't leave at all. Well, that's fucking shady. Perfect. Sir, if I might suggest, maybe we should delay just for a bit. Oh, it's just, we seem to be rushing to hit this festival deadline, and rushing into things has caused some issues in the past. I see. Please understand that I just want what's best for you. I am eternally grateful for all that you've done for me. Bill, I'll make this very clear for you. I brought you in to make things run smoothly, and not to have opinions. Of course, sir. Chin up, Bill. You are only a few days away from having everything you've ever dreamed of. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Whoa. Yeah. Just so we're clear, when they say loose ends, they're talking about murder, right? Like actually killing someone? Capital murder?
Luka gave Rolo a quick elbow to the ribs.
Who is this founder? I was hoping you guys would know. Nah, as far as we know, Mr. Kerr is the top banana at Perennial Harvest. He sounded scared of this founder guy. So we have an even topper banana on the field. What the hell is my mom caught up in? Has she talked about the job much? Not really. She said she was going to come in and continue to work. She said she was going to come in and continue the work of someone she respected. Luka, do you think that body at the warehouse was the person Beck's mom came to replace? That would make sense. Beck, it seems like Nellie's predecessor got, loose-ended. I'm getting that impression. Okay, so we need to get our mom out of there. So we need to get your mom out of there before the festival happens. That's 2 days away. Won't she just come home after work? The creep on the radio said that they were going to hold her there until then. So if she's not coming out, we gotta go in and get her.
Beck flicked a large sheet of paper out of her pocket and slammed it on the floor.
Maybe this'll help. You have blueprints? Well, it's really just a welcome map of my mom's PH orientation day. But it shows the layout. Sure looks like blueprints to me. Look, here's the reception area. There's a big room marked Founder's Office. It even has the exit marks Exits marked. Guys. We have a deadline. We have an objective. We have a blueprint. You realize what this is, right?
Rolo started to wiggle with excitement.
I think we're heisting. This is officially a heist. Rolo.
Chapter 6.
Oh my god. All right.
The Heist.
The heist.
They spent the night's end huddled around that small map, formulating a plan to infiltrate the headquarters of Perennial Harvest. It would be no small feat. A modern facility equipped with all manner of technology.
Yep.
Not to mention the swarm of clipboards that would most certainly be scattered throughout.
Yep.
By the time the sun began to peek through the car window used as a makeshift balcony door, all were in agreement. This could just work. The final day before the festival would be used to prepare. They'd need to pool every resource at their disposal, pull every favor with a thread. Even enlist some unsavory characters around town with important tasks only they were suited for.
Okay.
Luckily, there was enough ill will and mistrust toward Perennial Harvest that alliances could be found at a bargain.
Ha!
Luka, Beck, and Rolo rubbed their eyes as they exited the treehouse. They hadn't slept at all that night. There was no time. The festival was to begin in one day, and they each had their assignments.
All right. Quick recap. Rolo, you're gonna go talk to Roxy. Cordially. Without her and Fitz, this whole thing could go bust. Me? Cordial is my middle name! Uh-huh. And how do you plan to explain your
He
new...
waved vaguely at Rolo's sizable figure.
circumstance? Bah! She'll be so happy I'm alive she won't even notice.
Beck snorted an involuntary giggle.
And Beck, you're sure Iona won't just shoot the whole thing down when she hears it? She'll listen. Once she understands the danger Nellie is in, the danger we're all in, the plan will make sense. Okay. That leaves me with Jeff, then Iggy. How are you gonna persuade them? I'll think of something.
They each looked at each other with sleepy confidence.
Well, Godspeed. So I gotta go get the junk guy. Alright, let's go, go find Jeff. Yo, you still fishing shit? Where is the junk guy? I don't know where he lives. Okay, can I go this way?
The road leading to Beacon Pines was a sort of natural bit.
Okay, that's what I thought. So it's not this way. I gotta get Iggy and Tish on my side. Well, fudge. Perennial Harvest. Here we go. Undaunted, he shook his head. Over? No. Endings are merely a state of mind. This doesn't end until I give up. Wow. I admire the conviction. But can he really pull through? We're gonna find out. No, the junk guy's gotta be this way. Nope. Nope, okay. Nope, not here. Is it this way? Where's Iggy and Tish? I don't know where these... Oh, here he is. Hey, Jeff. What can I do for you? Well, I know how much you hate Perennial Harvest. Hate's a strong word. Oh, sorry, I mean... I did say it was the wrong word. Gotcha. So, we're gonna break into their headquarters, and I thought you might be able to help?
Jeff wheezed out a long snicker.
You see, I knew you kids were all right. Great. So you'll help?
The joy in Jeff's face drained instantly.
Not a chance. But give me one good reason why I should risk my hide aiding and abetting you rascals.
Looking into the sullen eyes of his would-be accomplice, Luka blurted out the first word that came to mind.
Junk! Yeah, what of it? Sandy, I've got more junk than a king has copper. Ain't interested.
Luka wasn't ready to give up so easily. He shouted out again.
Hide!
Jeff's brow perked up.
What'd you say? Go ahead and hide, then.
Sensing some traction, Luka carried on with vigor.
Let a bunch of kids do what needs to be done. We're not afraid.
Jeff's scowl faded with a sigh.
Say what you will about old Jeff, and they all do, but you'll never hear him say I hid from nothing.
One good stomp of the foot was all Jeff needed to drive his point home.
What was it you kids needed? Some sort of disguise. I got just the thing. And while we're at it, that crate should come in handy. This ain't gonna be free, you know. I'm thinking 5 bags of sour gobs should cover it. Put it on my tab.
Luka offered out his open hand to seal the deal. With a firm and dusty grip, Jeff reciprocated.
Done. Swing by first thing in the morning. Done. Nice. Alright. Now I gotta find Iggy and Tish. Not here. He could be back here. Oh, here they are. Hey Tish, look who it is. Luka, are you here to try and tickle us to death again? Look, just hear me out.
Iggy raised an eyebrow suspiciously.
We're listening. Iggy, I know we've been both giant bags of malice to each other. Malice? Wow, Tish, smart guy here with his smart guy words thinking he's impressing us. Scram, we ain't interested.
Luka knew they'd need Iggy and Tish to pull this off. He tried again.
Iggy, I know we've been both giant bags of shit to each other.
Iggy gave a reluctant shrug.
You're not wrong, but lately life has been kinda strange, you know?
Iggy considered the point.
Things have been weird around here, so I'm offering a truce and asking for your help. What do you say we break our hostilities at least for now? We do like breaking things, even if a truce means less breaking things. What if I told you there was a way to have a truce and break stuff? Go on. I need you to cause a distraction so I can sneak into Perennial Harvest HQ.
A wild-eyed grin spread across Iggy's face.
My, Luka Van Horn, I am impressed. And after all this is done, maybe you and Tish can come out, hang out at the treehouse sometime.
Iggy glanced over to Tish, who nodded in agreement.
Fine. But not because we want to see your crappy treehouse. We just like to cause chaos.
With a quick nod, Luka was off.
Nice. Did you hear that, Tish?
Iggy gazed up at Tish with a smile.
He invited us to hang out at the
A single
treehouse.
tear ran down Tish's cheek.
I never expected this day to come. How wonderful.
Chapter 7.
All right.
Into the hive. A good heist requires preparation. And
do it.
thorough preparation takes time. Something they had precious little of. So far, everything was in order. Jeff, Iggy, and Tish all agreed to do their part. Beck radioed Luka that night with a simple and covert message. "We're locked and loaded on my end." And Rolo, after a lengthy confession, managed to persuade Roxy and Fitz to help. He stowed away in mission control for the night to avoid attracting attention. Rolo, being uniquely suited for the role, would be the first to breach Perennial Harvest.
Cool.
The outfit provided by Jeff wasn't perfect, but a convincing disguise is 10% wardrobe, 90% confidence. Rolo took a few vigorous breaths and shook out his arms.
Fucking love it. Alright, here we go. Here we go. I don't even know what Rolo is. Is he a cat or a fox or a red panda? I don't know. Anyways, just stay calm, Rolo. You can do this. Got your delivery here. Delivery? I don't have anything in my notes about a delivery. One moment. I'm so sorry, but there's no delivery scheduled for this morning.
Right. You had to think quick.
That's because this goes directly to the founder. He asked that it be kept secret.
Rolo sighed, adjusting his tool belt.
You know how the founder can be. I suppose we can leave this one off the records. Good thinking, Rolo. Our harvest awaits, and such.
With a stroke of his mustache, Rolo proceeded into the perennial harvest headquarters.
Our harvest awaits. We finally get to be inside. This is cool. Package here for the founder. Oh, I didn't hear anything about it. Yes, this is kind of a need-to-know kind of thing. I'll just
He
check.
stammered and flipped through the pages of his clipboard.
This goes directly to the founder. I don't have time to fill you in. Oh, I see. If you could just complete this
Rolo
form...
interrupted with urgency in his voice.
Every time with the forms? Look, if you want to explain to the founder why I'm late, well, it's your funeral. I'm sorry. What did you say your name was again?
Rolo panicked.
Our harvest awaits. Sir? That's a restricted area. Excuse me, sir? Our harvest awaits! Ready to light this candle, Tish? Yep. Suck on this perennial ham fist. What was that?
The distraction was enough for Rolo to regain his confidence.
Just open the damn door. I've got a job to do.
The clipboard fumbled around in a frenzy.
I should check on that noise. Oh, come on! Just buzz me in already. Okay. Nice. Phew. That was close. Our harvest awaits? Hey, I figure when in doubt, stick with the classics. Well, that was a close one, but you pulled it off. Nice work, Rolo. Alright, everyone knows what to do? Yep, deep engineering is to the north. I'll go with Beck, in case you need some muscle. I'll head east to the founder's office. You two be safe. Locate the founder's office. Alright. Can I just hide back in here? Yeah, better not head that way. Actually, can I go this way? Okay, never mind. Sorry, just fucking around, guys. Water cooler! That's odd. There's not even any cups for the water. That is weird. What's this? The whole place just feels fake. But of all things, a fake plant? I don't know where I'm going, so I'm just gonna... Oh, it's a circle. Yep. This should get me to the... Yep, and then the water cooler's right here, right? Yep, okay. That was easy to figure out. Alright, we'll go this way. You can do a hallway to nowhere? What's going on here? Yeah. Whatever, hold on. I need to put on, do not bother me, I'm recording. There we go. Alright, let's keep going. Alright. Take this right, and take this down. Ooh. Solomon?
Solomon stopped in his tracks.
Luka? What are you doing here? It's a long story. Are you okay?
A veneer of confusion flashed across Solomon's face. His words rushed out dramatically.
No, I am not. No, I am most certainly not okay. Some strange people grabbed me and... Were they in hazmat suits? Yes, how did you know? They brought me in here, and they locked me up, and when they were distracted, I ran. Dang, okay, you should stick with me. We've got a plan.
Solomon's facade briefly faltered.
We? Yeah, Rolo and Beck are headed to deep engineering. Thank heavens you found me. We've got to get out of here. We can't just leave just yet. But they'll catch us again. We've got to do something first. When you were running, did you happen to see a door marked Founder? Founder? Why are you looking for him? I'm not. I just need to get into that office. Now that you mention it, I do think I saw a door that said Founder. It was just down this way.
I happened to notice a plaque above the door.
Office of the Founder. Knocking comes with consequences. Oh, here it is. So it is. It's pretty lucky that I ran into you, or else I might have missed it. Truly fortunate.
Luka tried the handle.
Locked.
Solomon leaned forward to examine the mechanism.
Regrettably, it seems to be some sort of electric lock. I don't see how we could possibly defeat a lock like that.
Luka smiled and looked at his watch.
Let's just wait a minute. There's Iona. I don't know what sort of funny business you're up to, but I like it.
She mimed a quick hat tip and ambled off with a whistle.
Howdy. Good afternoon.
The light on the keypad changed from red to green.
How did you do that? It's good to have friends. Oh, quick, let's get inside before someone spots us. That's sharper Valentine, but this is awesome.
Luka switched on his walkie-talkie.
Rolo, I'm in. As expected, there's a control panel. Great timing, we're stuck at locked door marked 24601. I need you to get us through. What if someone catches us? We should get out of here. I'm not leaving my friends, Solomon.
On the computer screen, a green cursor blinked in a password field.
Surely you don't have a way to get around the password.
Luka pecked out his best guess. Underground secrets. The screen blinked to life. Columns of green numbers glowed on a black background.
How did you just guess that? Oh, it's this absurd password Rolo heard when he was down here before. It's funny how someone arrogant enough to call themselves the Founder uses such a basic password. Or they were thinking several moves ahead, not expecting anyone to just guess something so simple. These villain types always end up outsmarting themselves.
Solomon's jaw clenched into a half.
Your powers of deduction are impressive as your luck.
Luka quickly scanned the columns for number 24601.
Rolo, I think this should do it. Bingo, bango, doors open. Luka, you never fail to impress. What is that slippery lout even doing down here? We have a friend whose mom is in trouble. We're here to get her out. I see. Okay, Luka, I think we're close. The next door is marked 13806.
Once again, Luka scrutinized the numbers on the screen. In that moment of distraction, Solomon reached forward and pressed a large red button.
Maybe this one opens the lock. We've got company. Luka, must go faster. One sec. I can't think with all this noise.
He skimmed the screen with his finger.
Here it is. Go, go, go. Curse these fumbling hands. My apologies, Luka. Don't beat yourself up. I know you're just trying to help. Aw, man. No water cups. Rolo! Rolo, are you okay? Rolo, come in!
Mr. Kerr approached with a sneer and spoke into his walkie-talkie.
You can turn off the alarms. They're
With
trapped.
self-satisfaction, he called into the hallway.
That, my dears, is a dead end. Nowhere to run. Rolo, where are you? Are you okay? Yeah, I think we lost him. Making our way back to Nellie's office. Okay, you two rabble-rousers. Okay, you two rabble-rousers are coming with us. Nope. Make a break for it! Did that little shit just kick me? Don't just stand there. After them! Okay, I think that worked. Roxy and Fitz have them on a wild goose chase. I'm having trouble following what just happened. Luke, like I said, it's good to have friends. Rolo, how long do you think Roxy can distract them? How long can Roxy keep someone so pissed off they can't see straight? Let's just say we've got time. Entering Nellie's office now. Mom! Oh, honey, what did you do to your hair? I thought you'd be happy I finally used the young chemist lab kit. You sure have a knack for making me incredibly proud in the most frustrating ways. We need to get you out of here. What we? Who is your adult friend? Oh, I'm not an adult. I'm not an adult. Ever heard of a growth spurt? I had more of a growth spew. No, that's not possible.
Nellie leaned over to examine his teeth.
Substantial banding onto the enamel of molars consistent with Tempest liquamine exposure. Is that what you call that gunk they forced me to drink? You drank it? Oh no. They told me it was only being tested on plants. Oh, Beck, sweetie, I promise I didn't know. Mom, what the hell is going on at this place? I was brought here to work on the discovery of a lifetime. A novel chemical compound was discovered under Beacon Pines in a wellspring they call the Source. They named it Tempest liquamine. It pulls energy from its surroundings in order to fundamentally alter matter's relationship to time. It was a secret to Valentine's fertilizer. They harvested the source, infusing small amounts of Tempest liquamine into the product. It worked wonders, drastically accelerating plant growth. Crops would be ready to harvest in a fraction of the time. But it led to complications. The foul harvest. Perennial Harvest came in to clean up the mess, to succeed where Valentine failed. But Tempest liquamine is rebellious. Rebellious? You can think of it as a manifestation of change itself. It's volatile by its very nature. So the more you try to force it to do a specific thing, the more it resists. Yes. I can relate to that. My role was to finish the work of my predecessor, Dr. Prescott. Harnessing Tempest liquamine to reliably manipulate an organism's age. Just imagine how many people we could feed. Mr. Kerr was very insistent that we achieve a successful result before today's festival. But you didn't, right?
Nellie sighed.
You know how much I love a good puzzle. I poured myself into this problem. It wasn't long until I discovered oddities in Dr. Prescott's notes. Oddities? They contain obvious errors, mistakes that someone of his reputation would never make. So I fixed them and and now I get to replace my entire wardrobe? I really am truly sorry. Meh, those clothes were all hand-me-downs anyway. It sounds like Dr. Prescott figured it out, got cold feet, and intentionally sabotaged his own work. I had considered that possibility. I've sent a letter asking him to clarify his thinking. Mom, Dr. Prescott is dead. Kerr had him killed. What? I overheard them talking about it on the radio. It's why we gotta get you out of here. Like now. Wait, the vial! I finally solved the chemical equation allowing direct control of aging. Mr. Kerr picked it up just before you came. All the more reasons we gotta hightail it. Luka, we got Dr. Modwell heading your way now. Roger that, be careful. Alright, everything's on track. And what is your plan for escape? We'll go over everything when they get here. In the meantime, maybe we can dig up some more info. Malice 80 proof whiskey. A hard drink for a hard man. Oh look! If you look, you can see the family picture just above his head, and there are darts on Augustus. Oh, the detail. Wow, even his alcohol is arrogant.
Solomon muttered inaudibly.
I should just smother you right now. What's that? I said I shouldn't bother you right now. Don't be silly, you're no bother at all.
Luka tugged on each of the cabinets.
Dang, this must be the good stuff. They're all locked. Perhaps he's not as careless as you suspected. New desk. It looks like the founder was helping Kerr plan the festival. Why would such a secretive leader be obsessed with a party? Only time will tell.
Luka held his hand up to the ashtray.
Still warm. He must have been in here recently. Yeah, it's him. This is actually kind of a cool twist. I really enjoy this. Let's see what else is on this bad boy. Let's see what else this bad boy has on it. Security system. Time card logs. Payroll. You know, for being so evil, this guy sure is boring.
Solomon once again muttered under his breath.
Just you wait. Huh? Oh, nothing. I like how he has books. Because he's so small, he has to sit on books to reach the same height. That's cute. I'm really sorry you got dragged into this mess, Solomon. You needn't worry about me. Well, I feel bad either way. We're gonna get you out of this, I promise.
With a subtle, quivering lip, a smile crawled across Solomon's face. They heard the trampling of frantic footsteps from the hallway.
Uh-oh, here they come. Lock it, lock it, lock it! Locked. That was close. When we left Nellie's office, it was swarming with clipboards. We barely got away. Did they follow you? Rolo, before we start tossing blame around, it is possible someone ordered a pizza? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Definitely not pizza. What now? Don't look at me. I'm officially retired from the heisting business. We're so sorry for the inconvenience. We just have a few quick questions. Just let me think. Can someone watch the door? Of course. Everyone else, huddle up. Oops. I think this little caper has gone on long enough. Solomon, no! Hush now, child. The adults are speaking. Dr. Modwell, a brief reintroduction is in order. We've never met in person, but we have corresponded. You see, it was I who hired you. Solomon, the pathetic orphan child, the powerful and the powerful and enigmatic founder. Sharper, the fallen progenitor who created this town. Perennial Harvest, Valentine Fertilizer, all connected by a single thread. Yours truly. But that's...
Her eyes searched the floor in thought. Solomon watched eagerly, waiting for the flicker of epiphany. With a sickened look, she peered into his soul.
Ah, yes. Now you've got it. Tempest Liquamine. You discovered how to reverse the process.
Solomon clapped with genuine delight.
Very good, Dr. Modewell, very good. Though the discovery wasn't intentional.
Solomon glanced down, examining his youthful form.
And the effects went a little too far for my tastes. That's why you needed me to finish Dr. Prescott's work, which you did admirably. Mr. Kerr, the vial, please.
Kerr presented it with a theatrical twirl of the hand.
May I present to you the 8th wonder of the...
Before he could finish, Rolo snatched the vial from Kerr's palm.
Wow, this stuff sounds pretty valuable. Be careful, you fool. You have no idea what you have in your hand. Actually, we do. You just did a whole evil villain monologue thingy about
Rolo
it.
casually tossed the vial to Luka.
Gosh, maybe I'll have a
Luka
taste.
tickled the vial mockingly.
Seize him! Luka! Over here! Move another inch and I smash it.
She held it tightly behind her back. Solomon sighed, speaking in crisp, measured syllables.
You have no plan. I'll smash it, I swear. Fine, risk killing us all. Or, if you're lucky, nothing happens. Then what? We capture you and grant you a much less leniency?
He pursed his lips with feigned sincerity.
But I give you my word, if you hand it over now, none of you will be harmed.
A deep uncertainty washed over Beck.
You're a smart girl, Beck. But there's no shame in being outwitted by someone smarter than you. We both know there is only one way this ends.
She looked to Nellie shakily. With a dispirited nod, Nellie sighed in defeat. Beck slowly approached Solomon.
That's a good girl. Beck, don't do it! We can't trust that jerk. I'm sorry, he's right.
With apprehension, Beck conceded. Solomon pocketed the vial and brushed off his shoulder with a sharp flick.
She changed it. She did something to the vial with it. Nobody saw it. Mr. Kerr, you have allowed yourself to be humiliated by a group of children. Report to my office for a performance review.
The blood drained from Kerr's face.
Of course, sir. But first, you have a speech to make. Trot out there and give me the introduction I deserve. And don't forget to smile. Yes, sir. And to think, all of this thanks to the effort of Mr. Van Horn. I don't understand how this is all because of me. Ha! I said Mr. Van Horn, silly child. Dr. Walt Van Horn. Your father was always a thorn in my side. I offered him an opportunity to be part of something great, but the fool was blinded by righteousness. He even broke into my laboratory in an attempt to sabotage my work.
Solomon shook his head with gratification.
But the universe has a funny way of correcting course. By meddling with a force he didn't understand, Walt showed me its true potential. As fate would have it, Luka, your father's dying act was to grant me eternal life.
A muffled applause resonated faintly through the walls.
Well, that's my cue. After the festivities and my subsequent ascension, I will return to deal with you all. Until then, I suggest you use this time to reflect on the magnitude of your failure. You three keep post outside the door. Well, crap. Damn it! The good guy always loses! No. This is fun. Okay. Well, guesses? I don't have any guesses. I just want to see how it all ends. Okay. Hey. I'm sorry, Luka. I did what I had to do. I know, it's just... we were so close. I got a feeling that eventually Solomon will get what's coming to him. Time wounds all heals. Well, time seems like less of an issue for him now. She switched it. I can't believe Beck sold us out like that. I'm not sure she had any other choice. So what now? What's the plan? I don't have one. Of course you do. You always have a plan. Rolo, you just need some time. Rolo, it's over. We lost. Luka, there's something you should know. After Mr. Kerr locked me in that office, I had nothing but time and curiosity. I poked around a bit, hoping to find a means of escape, but I found something else. A note, hidden in a false drawer. What sort of note? Dr. Prescott must have sensed his time at Perennial Harvest was growing short, so he left behind a letter with the hope it would be found by his successor. It was a confession of sorts. He left it for me, but its contents... Luka, I think they were meant for you. Why? What did it say? It was about an incident with your mother. Dr. Prescott found her in his lab with a stolen keycard. There was an accident. She was exposed to the extreme amounts of Tempest liquamine.
The color dropped from Luka's face.
Did she... Is she... She survived. Dr. Prescott decided to help her recover. He no longer trusted Perennial Harvest, so he kept her whereabouts a secret. Over time, your mother led him to reconsider the purpose of scientific discovery. Science is often at the vanguard of change, but that doesn't mean it's always right. He realized that no one should have control over something as powerful as time itself. I now believe that's why he began intentionally sabotaging his own work. And it cost him his life. That's a reasonable conclusion.
Luka was overwhelmed with emotion.
But if she's alive, where has she been? Where is she now?
A sudden explosion sounded from the hull. Chapter 8. Comeuppance.
Comeuppance. Fuck around and comeuppance.
Ears still ringing, Gran picked herself up off the ground. Through the dust and smoke, she looked over to see Mrs. Fratelli helping Hiram Tolliver to his feet. She'd had to beg, borrow, and steal to acquire those explosives. How many nights had she spent visualizing how she'd use them to make things right? And now, her one shot at destroying the source, that damned hole that swallowed so much of her life, was gone. Traded for this jagged hole in a wall and a foolhardy shot at rescuing Rolo. With Fratelli and Tolliver at her side, she stepped through. It was a strange feeling. The last time she'd stalked this maze of hallways, it was in a different body. They quickly rounded a corner to find a group of clipboards guarding a door. Something worth guarding is probably something worth seeing. She leapt forward, brandishing her cane. If her last chance at vengeance for things lost was truly gone, she would just have to fight to keep what she still had.
Oh, hi, everybody. Gran, what are you doing here? Luka, what are you doing here? We're here to save Nellie. We're here to save Rolo. Hey, Mrs. Luke. Hey, Miss Luca's Gran. That's awful nice of you. but I'm fine. Oh no, what did they... Gran, there's no time to explain. We have to go now. Come on, everyone. We got a party to crash.
They made their way out from deep within Perennial Harvest, just as Solomon finished up his speech.
Thankfully, we can dispense with formalities from here on out.
Solomon pulled a glass vial from his pocket.
We've got to stop him.
In one smooth motion, he downed its contents. A triumphant smile grew across Solomon's lips.
No! Well, I guess that's it. We lost. I wouldn't be so sure about that.
With a mischievous look, Beck elbowed Luka. Remember when I had the vial behind my back?
Mm-hmm.
I might have tweaked his wonder potion with a little junk.
Can't wait to see the look on his face when he realizes he drank his own cigar ash. How did the ash get into the vial? It was pretty easy to mess with the vial when it was behind my back. Oh, that's sneaky. Well, it's a bad habit anyways. Pa always said bad habits are like 50-yard field goals. Huh? Hard to kick. Thanks, Rolo. You can all call me Sharper Valentine.
His body and face began to contort and expand as he disappeared into a belching green mist.
Well, that's one way to kick a bad habit.
As the last of what was once Sharper Valentine wafted into the air, the crowd began to disperse, still numb from what they had just observed. Sharper Valentine was gone for good. His end would be a new beginning for Beacon Pines, a new chance to let go of the things they had lost and grab hold of a new future. The end.
I don't think so.
Well, I'd be lying if I said that wasn't a bit gratifying. If that feels to you like a good note to end on, I won't stand in your way.
Alright, let's try this. We did junk. Let's do malice. With a little
malice. I might have tweaked his
malice.
wonder potion with a little malice.
Malice? The whiskey from his office? Yep, dude had an unfinished glass on his desk. Figured his grow juice could use a little hair of the dog. You can all call me Sharper Valentine.
His body and face began to contort and expand as he disappeared into a belching green mist.
Now that's what I call 80 proof whiskey. Damn, dude.
The crowd gazed in stunned silence at the now empty stage. The quiet was broken when William Kerr sprinted off stage and into the distance. He was never seen around Beacon Pines, or anywhere else for that matter, again. Watching the silhouette of Kerr disappear over the horizon, Luka began to laugh. First, a low chuckle that became uncontrolled, heaving laughter.
Yes.
Through his tears, he was vaguely aware that the crowd had begun to laugh with him. The end. That was unexpected. Perhaps a bit of an absurd ending for my taste, but who am I to say? I'm only writing the damn thing.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm probably toward the end, but let's give it another shot with a little change.
I might have tweaked his wonder potion with a little change.
Like, pocket change? Your unlucky penny! Yeah, I popped it in the vial when no one was looking. What's that gonna do? No idea. That's the beauty of science. Now, we observe. You can all call me Sharper Valentine.
His body and face began to contort and expand as he disappeared into a belching green mist.
Holy crap, he's a baby? Yeah, but he's still Sharper, right? What he has no longer what he was no longer matters. This is an innocent child. I apologize for all the harm my father has caused
Eris
you.
awkwardly cradled the squirming child. She looked to her brother, her voice shaking with uncertainty.
Augustus, what do we do what Valentines always do. What must be done. I'll hurry home and prepare a crib for father, or young Sharper. That would be a great help. Thank you.
She looked back down at the infant with equal parts kindness and terror in her eyes. With a shake of her head, Eris addressed the crowd with a stern scowl.
Okay, everyone, the show is over. You may leave now.
Epilogue.
Oh, okay.
Beacon Pine's coldest summer on record came and went without much fanfare.
Okay.
Folks shared what they had, and none were left wanting. The new school year was ushered in by the falling leaves of autumn. After everything Luka, Rolo, and Beck had been through, middle school was bearable. The chill of winter didn't seem to bother people much. They kindled a hope for a better future in their hearts. When spring arrived, farmers planted their crops with a sense of joy and optimism. And as the dawn of the first day of summer came again, its light slowly spread through the shallow valley. It crept over the town square, across the river, past the neglected welcome sign, and came to rest on a young boy sleeping at dawn, his mind at peace, knowing he is here for a reason.
All right. All right. Nice. Walkie-talkie. Rolo, are you up yet? Roger that. It's a beautiful day at Mission Control. You gonna swing by? Be there in a minute. Do.
Over time, Eleanor began moving Walt's old things out of the closet and into storage. Eleanor had moved back into her bedroom, and now that she wasn't sneaking out late, she even slept there most nights.
Oh, hi, Eleanor. Nothing in here. Oh, yeah. Mom, I'm ready to go now. You go on without me. I'll meet you there. I've got a batch of jam to finish jarring. It's funny. I only started making jam as a way to send messages without anyone noticing. But now, I enjoy it. Aw, that's cool. I hear you and Rolo have a big plans for that little tree house. Yeah, it started getting crowded after we revoked the max capacity of 1 Rolo, 1 Luka rule. So we decided to expand. But at least we got some help with that. How's the internship at Nellie and Iona's shop going? It's been great. I'm hoping it helped me get into the School of Agriculture up at State. Also, Nellie said she'd write a letter of recommendation, which would be huge. I just can't help but worry about leaving Rolo. He's grown up so fast, but he's still my little brother. Yeah, he had a heck of a growth spurt. I don't just mean grown, literally. This morning he was up and finished his chores before I even had breakfast. Well, some of that might be his excitement about the treehouse renovations. Don't tell him this, because it'll go to his head. But I'm really proud of that little punk. I'm sure he feels the same way, but he's just too dang proud to tell you. I know. Alright, this is fun. Oh, hello. Hey Gus, how's the tree planting going? Couldn't be better. I'm so grateful to Iona and Nellie for letting me help. I just wasn't built to be a mayor. Too much bureaucracy. Gus, we finished cleaning up the sidewalks. What's next?
When Perennial Harvest collapsed, most of the clipboards skipped town. But some stuck around and dedicated themselves to making things right.
Anyone with a knack for art can help paint the new offices. You can count on us. Well, looks like you really found your calling. I never really felt comfortable telling people what to do. Now this right here, this is something I can be proud of. That's cool. It's a fun little... Oh, hold on! Oh yeah! Happy endings end on a happy leaning pole. Fuck yeah. Alright. How's the napping this morning? The most underrated part of a good nap is the view. And the view is getting greener every day. Nice. Oh, hi. I see you decided on a name. Yep, we had to clear out all the old stuff before putting on the final touch. Slow and Dirty Harvest is now official. I like it. It was actually Nellie's idea. There's still a lot of work to do, and the name serves as a reminder. Just because progress is important doesn't mean change should happen fast. In fact, I've learned that the more you care about something, the more important it is to take things slow. Our motto is, go slow and fix things. Amen to that. Oh, mission control, that's right. Hi, buddy. Luka, get this. I managed to reel in an actual fish this morning. Seriously? Yeah, an honest to goodness, flip-flopping, swim-swamming fish! I don't think I've ever caught an actual fish here. Been at least 7 years since I've caught one. I say it's a good omen. What do you do with the fish? Oh, I release it back into the pond. I'm hoping to catch it again tomorrow. They're cute. A little higher. Yup. A little lower. Yup. A little higher. Yep. I'm telling you, the angle isn't the issue. We need more power to the radio. Luka, there you are. Would you tell him it's not the angle? Hey, I'm not in charge of the antenna redesign. Fine, fine. Iggy, just don't do anything drastic until we get back. Who? Me? Tish, you're in charge while I'm gone. Okay. Oof. Yup. They'll be fine, right? It'll be fine. If we really want mission control to turn into something bigger and better, we have to loosen up our grip a bit. You're right. Lead the way. What is up here? Anything new? Oh, hold on. No. Keep going, kid. Keep going. Alright, let's go check in with Beck. Adult Rolo. Can we go inside? Nope. Oh, here we go. Young Mr. Van Horn. How is little Solomon, Sharper doing? Young Sharper seems to enjoy nature, more than I... So we do a lot of strolling these days. Has he, you know, attempted to crawl out of his crib and plot world domination? Yeah. Thankfully, no. I spoke at length with Dr. Modwell, and she feels that Sharper's infant mind was not developed enough to retain his previous memories. For all intents and purposes, the child is unmolded clay. Let's hope he's a little nicer the second time around. That is the objective, yes. But really, all I can do is try and hope. Two activities I am endeavoring to find less distasteful. Well, I think you're doing a great job. And the whole town is ready to help out however we can. I can't wait to teach him to throw a baseball.
Eris did her best to ignore the tears welling in her eyes.
That would be acceptable. What's today's news that needs knowing? I'll give you tomorrow's headlines today. Our old friend Patrick C. Montesquieu, aka William Kerr, just performed a stirring rendition of The Iceman Cometh at the State Correctional Facility. I hear there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Well, I guess he has plenty of time to work on his craft. He looked to his friends with a thankful smile. After everything that could have gone wrong, everything that did go wrong, we made it. The end.
Closing her eyes, Miss Hatch took a deep, relaxing breath.
Oh, hello, Luka. How are you? Really good, actually. That's wonderful. Did I miss anything? I think you pretty much up to speed. Oh, let's go check out what Dawn is up to. Hey, Dawn. Ugh. I'm glad you swung by. More follow-up questions for your story? Nope, I got everything I need. Thanks again for that. I sent a draft of the story to a reporter in Capital City, and they offered me an internship. Of course they did. You're an amazing reporter. I don't know about all that. A story about a phony corporation that picked up an entire town of people and moved them to cover up a massive illegal mine shaft full of incredibly hazardous chemicals? Sort of writes itself if you think about it. Just don't forget us when you become a fancy big city reporter. Capital City isn't that far away. I'm gonna have to come back from time to time to check in and see what sort of new trouble you've gotten yourself into. Sorta sorry to disappoint, but my adventuring days are over. Ha! We both know that's not true. What makes you say that? Call it a reporter's intuition. Oh, here we go. Hey.
Mrs. Fratelli glowed with a carefree smile.
Is that your suitcase? That is 2 weeks of unencumbered tranquility. Excuse me? Would you be so kind as to take my order? 2 weeks of sand, margaritas, and forgotten obligations. Excuse me? I'd love to place an order.
Mrs. Fratelli sighed with a zen-like calm.
Just as soon as the lunch rush ends, I'll be a feather on the wind. You're going on vacation? For the first time in years. And I've got you and your mom to thank. Why's that? She didn't tell you yet. You two are gonna fill in for me at the diner while I'm gone. Just like old times. It's fine, I'll wait. Yeah, you better wait, bitch. You're gonna wait their whole damn life with that attitude. Alright, let's go, Rolo. Alright. Oh, sorry, sir. This is gonna be a long play, so I apologize. I've never done... It's gonna be a long video. Oh. Hey, Mr. Nuncreed. I'm gonna go see my dad in a bit. Did you want to come with? Even after everything I did, you'd still...
Mr. Nuncreed shook his head.
You really are your father's son, aren't you? I don't think I'm ready for that, yet. Well, you're always invited. I bet he'd love to hear from you. I'll visit Walt in my own time. You run along now. What's all this? The kids. Jeff.
With perennial harvest gone, the transportation tubes were left unused.
Come on, come on, come on! No one is too big, no one is too small for Jeff's wild ride.
Maybe not completely unused.
Just one piece of candy for the ride of your life. Who's next? Oh, that was me. Guess what? Yesterday I saw a Dynasties Titiitis, and that's good. It's great! I haven't spotted one of those in years. At this rate, Beacon Pines is going to become the bug capital of the country.
Luka peeked up at the beehive. It appeared to be deserted.
That's strange. Alright.
After the foul harvest destroyed their wealth and reputation, the Valentines shuttered off their estate from the rest of town.
Alright, back.
The Valentine mansion loomed over every other building in town, both figuratively and literally.
I have news I think you'll enjoy. This morning, I unpacked my last box. You're officially moved in! It's just a box. Let's not blow this out of proportion. It sounds an awful lot like putting down roots. I guess I decided this place is root-worthy. You're gonna be stuck with me for the foreseeable future. I do have to warn you, most years aren't going to be as interesting as this one. I think I'll manage. Ready? Before we go, there's a bit of a surprise. Oh. My mom prepared this tree especially for you. They didn't have to do that. It wasn't just them. Just about the whole town pitched in. We all owe you one. It should do okay in the cold of old Beacon Pines, and thrive as things warm up. That's perfect. Alright. This is for his dad. This is cool. This is a nice little, like, ending to all of this. Ah, you got it. Now that's a good-looking tree. Being a special occasion and whatnot, this rides on the house. You're gonna want to hang on tight for that little tree. Cool. Jeff's wild ride. Off to old Beacon Pines.
I think this is it. The end I've been waiting for. Honestly, I'd begun to lose hope of ever finding it. But then you came along. I don't know exactly how to thank you. It's hard to explain how much this means to me. It's funny, now that our time together is finally ending. I'm at a loss for words. Let's just watch the end together.
Done. A good little tree. The best little tree. Thank you, children. This means a lot. Yeah, thanks for everything. Shucks. I only did what any super awesome best buddy would have done. We should probably give you some time alone right now. You good? Yeah, I am. It's been a wild year. How are you feeling? Everyone keeps asking me that. I'm fine, really. Pa always says, the only thing fitter than a fiddle is a cello. I feel like a dang cello. Well, if you ever stop feeling like a cello, I'm right here for you. I know, you don't even have to say it. You two make an awesome pair. Excuse me? We're a trio now. Yep. Thanks. There's just one thing missing now that you're a part of our group. Missing? Let me tell you a little story about a man named Hank Atomic. Oh, God. I won't be long. We'll be waiting for you back at the phone booth. I found the perfect way to start our summer. You got some good friends. I'm so proud of you. Your father would be so proud. I know. Mom, can I ask you a question? Do you ever dream about Dad? Not at night. Not a night goes by that I don't. Are you ever afraid that you're gonna forget him? Forget what he looked like? Forget his voice? No, because so much of him lives on in you. He loved that old tree, but I know he would have loved this one more, because his two favorite people planted it. I'll give you two a moment. Hey, Dad. Dr. Moldwell says that over the next few years, this place should warm up, so you won't have to be so cold for much longer. I think I finally understand why you left that night. There were things you believed in, big things. Those beliefs were the things that made you, you. If you wouldn't have stood up for what you believed in, you wouldn't have been the same person anymore. You had to go, but that didn't mean you loved us any less. I might not visit you as much as I used to. I know you understand. The end! That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. That whole game was a lot of fun. So good. Great story. Funny thing is, I never even got to use all the charms. There's one charm I didn't use. Ah, Kirsten Mize. Good job, voice storyteller. Can we skip this? Oh no. I wonder if there's something at the end. So how do I feel about this game? Well, the game is amazing. Super easy to just get lost in its whole design, the story, all the characters were fun. I love the twists. And I like the idea of having different options of like, well, what would this future look like? Well, we don't like that one. Or what about this future? We don't like that one. We like pieces, so you can kind of redo what you chose, which is like another way of doing choose your own adventure. And what's neat is that each potential future or timeline, essentially, got to know a little bit more about that particular character who was involved at that time. So, it was a Kickstarter, that's cool. I think for me, it was a very well-written book. I think if someone were to pick it up as like a movie, it would do well. Maybe even as like a 10 episode or even 8 episodes somewhere, it would be a good play it again kind of game. Feel like it's just like a one-time shot. Yeah. And that's fine. Ooh, okay, here we go. Oh, is that it? And we're back. Thank you again for watching. My name is AJ, and this is Brilliant Luck Gaming, and we will play another game soon. Have a good one. Bye.